hope you all are doing well. Today I am here with Dr. Brandi Hester-Harrell. I'm going to give her a couple of seconds though before we come on and give you some announcements. She is with the Black Cannabis Week and executive producer of the Black Cannabis Week, and I'll give you a bio real quick. But before we get started with her, I just want to give a big shout out to my sponsors. You know who all they are. Want to welcome Honey Pot Treats coming on for the new as a new sponsor, and she's a dear friend. Cornucopia Growers will be with us for the Elevate Innovate event that's happening on August 22nd at Long Island City at Trends Dispensary, and I'm just having a blast getting everything together. We are going to be pretty much celebrating New York card licensees, and we want to be able to bring in B2B, B2C, and businesses. It's so important that everyone knows how the cannabis industry is doing, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. And plus, we're consuming these products, so we want to make sure that they're safe as well. Also, too, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Daniela Vergara of the Cornell Weil. I heard it's Cornell Wheel. I always called it Weil. It's Cornell Wheel University. They're having their high cannabinoid cannabis sativa field day, September 11th, 2027. Excuse me, Friday, September 11th, 2026 at Jordan Hall, 614 West North Street at Cornell Agritech in Geneva, New York. It's $35 per person. If you're coming from out of town, reach out to her. She has access to hotels and accommodations. It's going to be a great day of learning about cannabis, the growing of it from seed to harvest. You'll be meeting a lot of people in the industry, so I recommend that you all take the time out to meet them. But today, I definitely want to be able to give some time and wellness to Dr. Brandi. She is probably one of the main, I say, activists and advocates in the East Coast. She's in our sister city of Philadelphia, and the Black Cannabis Week was founded in 2018 by Cherron Perry-Thomas and operates as a programming initiative of the Diasporic Alliance for Cannabis Opportunities. That's DACO. Its mission centers on advocacy, education, entrepreneurship, wellness, culture, and economic opportunities for communities affected by cannabis criminalization. Think free my weed, man. Today, we're joined by Dr. Brandi Hester-Harrell, executive producer of Black Cannabis Week in Philadelphia. Dr. Brandi is an educator, equity strategist, and cannabis policy specialist working at the intersection of entrepreneurship, reform, and community opportunity. We're going to talk about the origins of Black Cannabis Week, the organization's mission, and what it takes to build a future cannabis industry that is genuinely inclusive, not just in language, but in ownership, access, and power. So again, how are you doing, Dr. Brandi?
Thank you so much. The introduction was great. I am doing well. We are working hard over here, getting ready for the Cannabis Opportunities Conference happening during Black Cannabis Week. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here. We're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna actually learn a lot of things about the conference. But most importantly, I think that I hope when we finish this interview, people understand the why this conference was started, but the necessity of why now.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the listeners who may be unfamiliar with Black Cannabis Week, what is the organization and what inspired its creation?
Cherron Perry-Thomas is the founder, as you shared. And what she wanted to do is we know the criminalization. You can walk outside of our communities and you know exactly the impact. I'm actually a native from Rochester, New York. I live in Philly, but I'm a New Yorker.
Rochester in the house.
Exactly, upstate. So when I think about what is happening, what I am seeing is This was founded because we needed to actually not just talk about the problems, we needed to talk about solutions and talk about the wins that are happening and allow us to actually mobilize and plan for the future, because this isn't just an industry, it is a profession. So this conference provides a bridge for the community.
Okay, okay. And Black Cannabis Week, let's see, Black Cannabis Week began in Philadelphia in 2018. That's like my second, sister, that's like my second home. What was happening in the cannabis and policy landscape at the time that made this platform necessary?
What I can share is that Cherron has been working on policy in Pennsylvania and trying to get cannabis legalized for over 10 years,
Hmm.
mobilizing residents and having rallies and bringing us together. So I'm happy to just be able to have been under her tutelage and to be able to learn from her as elder in our community. So it was
Hmm.
started from a place of necessity, because at this point we already knew that, especially in Pennsylvania, as so many lifers, we were seeing just the incarceration system explode, but we are also seeing a medical shift. We started to see a different dialogue. And in order to make sure we didn't actually get lost in this, we had to slow down the information. And the lens recognizes that cannabis can't just be a lens that is shared against one state, which is why the DACO actually has a global approach. And you'll
Hmm.
see that people are coming from all over the nation and globe to celebrate with us at the Cannabis Opportunities Conference.
That's a, regarding DACO, how does Black Cannabis Week connect with DACO?
So DACO is the parent. DACO is the organization, the Diasporic Alliance of Cannabis Opportunities. That is the hub. Black Cannabis Week is like Spirit Week. This is the time that we're activating around the Cannabis Opportunities Conference. The Cannabis Opportunities Conference, that's is our vehicle to learn. So, parent, DACO, Spirit Week, Black Cannabis Week, it's allowing us all to get excited, share together kind of what you did in school. But this year, we're going to get into that. We're going to be moving around and being in different cities. And then we have the opportunity for you to come and actually mobilize, learn, and grow together at the Cannabis Opportunities Conference in Philadelphia.
Okay, okay. What is the central mission of Black Cannabis Week, and how has that mission evolved since the organization began?
Great question. Black Cannabis Week, the mission is simple. It is to amplify the voices of Black and Brown people across the globe. That's simple. And to share those successes. I would say I came on board as a volunteer 5 years ago at this point.
Hmm.
Um, and when I came on, I wanted to make sure that this week continues to express the vision of how Sharon started it, making sure we have the education. But with my educational background, I wanted to make sure we had the opportunity to learn all together. We don't all have the same lived experiences. Like our life isn't monolithic. So I wanted to make sure that this week had different experiences to allow people to know we can learn at any different level. I was telling someone we need to get back to where learning what, like, it's okay to say you don't know, so we learn together, but
Hmm.
also where learning is cool. Like learning was never not cool for me, but collectively learning new knowledge, but also if I told you something and it was a new fact, it's okay to reform and revise your opinion on something. And I hope that we can begin to bring stakeholders so that this is people from all different industries, because wine and alcohol intersects in all parts of our lives without us blinking an eye. I think we should reconsider the conversation, and that's what we're doing here at Black Cannabis Week.
Oh, that's amazing because a study just came out that the cannabis usage has now surpassed tobacco and alcohol. And it is projected to bring the U.S. economy $60 billion. I remember back in 2022, we were talking in the low tens. Now the projections have gone 5 to 10 times more than what we predict because of the consumption growth has grown. Why was Philadelphia the right place to build this national conversation around cannabis, race, justice, and economic opportunity?
I think many things we know, many revolutions have mobilized in Philadelphia and started here. This is the origin of where Cherron was actively doing the work. If you know, she has been a central organizer in this city for over 2 decades. So
Mhm.
the work started here because she was already mobilizing people, but she realized that the barrier was there with the plant, that there were seeing people incarcerated for low level. You have a joint, you could go to jail, just like what's
Yeah.
happening in Texas. I don't know if you saw what's happening, but yeah,
Yes, yes, I have.
it's a
It
crazy
remind
time.
it it reminded me of I lived in Philly from 1976 to 82. So I went to middle school and high school there. And probably a little, yeah. And having getting caught with marijuana was for especially people of color, you were asking for trouble. And plus I was there when the crack epidemic started sweeping the nation.
Mm,
So, and all we kept hearing about was North Philly, North Philly, North Philly. But it was really bad.
yeah.
I was there when Move happened, when Rizzo was mayor, when So it's the how has the political change? How has the political landscape changed? Do you think? Just real quick, that's an offside question actually, because I'm finding, Philly has always been like, yo, you guys are always a decade behind us. You're supposed to be up here with us. What's going on with you? With
Listen, I'm gonna
policy,
be honest. I
with
thought it would be
policy,
moving faster.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
really thought it would move faster as a young person. I actually was disappointed, but this has allowed me to move faster. We
right.
do have a partnership and working with government, and we have worked with Senator Street. We have worked with Representative, I'm a congressional member, Rab. So we have worked with leaders. We have continued to work with them. I would say where we're struggling most is on a city level. I feel
Hmm.
like the state gets it. I feel like the part that they're bumping heads about is who's going to get the money. So that's why we haven't had legislation passed.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that they would have been able to come together for more of a collective conversation, understanding the urgency of the tax revenue that we need, and not just in Pennsylvania. We need to talk about globally and really nationally. If we know the crisis that we're in, it's a K economy, many things are happening in America. I thought we would be having a different conversation. Right now, they haven't been able to reach an agreement, and I thought this would have happened 3 years ago. So disappointed in that. But I definitely hear the conversation, and we're at the table. So I'm grateful for that. But I will tell you on a localized level, sometimes it feels like people are so scared when they're waiting for legislation to change. They're so scared to even listen. And that's what I'm actually most disappointed in. This is a time where all legislators from any level should be coming and listening and trying to learn so that they can make the most informed decisions. But instead, sometimes it feels like we don't always have the allies. But I can
Right.
tell you, we have really been able to grow because we really leverage the way we work with our allies. And shout out to all of the allies who we've had over 160 leaders across the nation and politically across many states, all the way down to localized and municipal support, all the way up to congressional. So I think that has been really important to
Hmm.
allow us to not just allow our current conversation, because current landscape politically doesn't feel great, right? But
Right.
how do we continue to mobilize? You mobilize by using the people who are your allies to have conversations and grow with the people who want to. And over time, you notice that the people who act like they weren't watching, they were. They
Hmm.
were watching, and eventually they come along, or unfortunately, they get gone too.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. We're going to talk about your role and perspective. What does your role as executive producer involve? And what goes into creating a week of programming that brings together entrepreneurs, advocates, educators, artists, and policymakers?
Oh, wow. What a great question.
Because I love Deshita Dawson, Dank Duchess. They're awesome. I'm getting them on the show soon. And
Yes.
also a big shout out to Tawson Ajaye. She's now the executive producer of Cannabis NYC. And you know what kills me is that it seems like the conscience of any social equity push or policy is run by women,
Mm.
and Black women at that.
Mm.
What is, and I love it, but um, that's what I see. The Black excellence really comes from the woman, the educator, and it's been proving her. Uh, she is the highest educated person in some cases on the planet. You know what I mean? On a per capita level. So, um, you know, what does your role? How does your role help become an effective executive producer to bring all those people together?
Mm. Well, first, shout out to all of the women you named and all of the women who are doing the work. Um, I can only do this role because of my community. So I'm grateful for that. I think that is the first thing that I would say. In this role, I serve as lead organizer. And boy, when I first signed up, I thought I was a volunteer year one. I didn't understand what we needed, but I understand what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be in an intergenerational dialogue because the urgency and community needs to be necessary. So I won't sugarcoat that part. I will say a part of my role is to make sure the first thing that I had to do is understand what it means to build community. So I'm grateful that I have over the years been able to continue to build coalition across states and across the nation and intersections that go back into cannabis. So thank you to all the partners that are helping us to lead this work. Currently, we have a team of 27 advisory board leads. I'm so excited for them. And out of those leads, we also have almost 50 volunteers this year. In order for us to make this work, I want you guys to think about this. Again, Black Cannabis Week is like Spirit Week. So we're going to be dropping our daily dose tours. We'll be in different cities. So look forward to that dropping soon. The conference is taking place in Philadelphia, Cannabis Opportunities Conference, and that happens on September 25th to the 27th. In order to put this together, we we have to fundraise, we have to
Yes.
mobilize community. I'm professionally developing and training leaders. I'm also strategically working on programming. I think that's where my education background gets to truly shine. I will tell you that when we understand education and where it lies, what we do need to understand is we all learn different. So we have adopted the unconference model, and that takes the approach where you'll see multiple events all under the same thing. Would you mind going to the tab that says Cannabis Opportunities Conference
Sure. Let's see if we can find it. Where are we at?
at the top?
Top,
And
and we're gonna go to resource, like right
right
here.
here and go to events. Sorry, go to events. Thank
Okay.
you.
Conference.
Sorry, yep, perfect.
Okay.
Alrighty, and then so I'll just walk over this. I want to share this one thing. Every year, in order to do this, we have a theme. This year, the theme is Rising in Joy, Rooted in Resistance, Building What's Next. So everything that will be centering around will really come back to that. Joy is something that I hope we can find because the industry feels really interesting. But the resistance will allow us to build the profession that we need to give the validity that we need to this industry. When we talk about change, it requires us to understand we're taking a little bit longer in cannabis because we talk about it as an industry. When you talk about something as a profession, that means we prioritize learning collectively and make sure it's important. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can expect over the next 3 days of the conference.
Okay.
That first day that you come to the conference on Friday, we have a policy summit. And that policy summit is going to be an amazing opportunity for us. And it'll be right at the bottom if you scroll down.
No worries.
Um, no problem. So at the policy summit, we're bringing together all different types of leaders. So let's first, of course, we're going to have our politicians there having a conversation, but we also want them to be there to learn. We're bringing industry leaders that show both national, state, and localized voice. We are hoping that we're in a room where we can co create the future of policy together. So I'm super excited about that and what that means. I'm excited that we're on the regulators commissioner panel. and we have commissioners from all over the country coming to have a conversation. We are really making sure that leaders are there learning. So come out, join us. Know that we also have tickets for students. If you are a student, there are discounted tickets for you. And if you need a ticket and you're a student, just go ahead and email us and we'll get back to you. So Friday, come stop by the policy summit. The unconference model shows up on Friday. In which event do you want to attend? You might attend all of the events that day. You might attend the one that most aligns. We start that morning with a policy breakfast. Then we're actually going to be having a hearing at the same hotel. And that is because we understand you asked earlier, what is the landscape in Pennsylvania and why haven't they passed?
Mm-hmm.
In order to change the landscape, we have to have that hearing. So just want to name that that will be there. You don't need a ticket for that. So if you come to the policy summit, after the summit, there will be a hearing that will be happening. And a part of this is to ensure that we're able to get those legislative perspectives recorded so that it actually can influence how we change law. That evening, we partner with Brandon from High Black History. It is a spinoff of Drunk Black History. It is a comedy show. Get
Mm-hmm.
ready to laugh. That's the joy. Get ready to laugh together collectively. I'm excited about this because it brings together history and comedy. We'll have a festival outside with tons of activations, DJ. It's in a black-owned brewery. Grab your tickets at blackcannabisweek.com. They're only $25, so when they sell out, they sell out. Don't tell me I didn't tell you, okay?
Well,
We
what we're
try.
going to do is we're going to take a small break.
All
Then we're
right,
going to come
perfect.
back, finish this up. I want to be able to play this video as well to show people if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
No worries. So, everyone, give us a few minutes and give us 2 minutes. Be right back.
For too long, cannabis branding relied on outdated stereotypes. We're here to change that. Jadestone is a woman-owned, strategy-first creative agency, building brands that stand out, resonate, and perform. With white glove service and meticulous attention to detail, we transform ideas into bold identities and memorable experiences. From brand strategy and visual identity to packaging and dispensary design, every touchpoint is intentional, refined, and crafted to make your brand unforgettable. Let's create something extraordinary together.
Fluff the pillows like the incense. You're the perfect host. Well, almost. That's why she's your best friend. Exchange the essentials. New York City Cannabis Exchange. Your night delivered.
Alrighty, we're here. We're back. I want to give everyone a big shout out. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Thursday. It's lovely, sunny out. It's August 13th and almost 5 o'clock. So I just want to say it's truly a pleasure to have this lovely young lady on to discuss what we're talking about. And I'm going to go ahead, right? I want to be able to get us to play
So
this
I
lovely
did
video.
drop I like this video, but I did drop one in that I think will be great for you to see if you see it in
Oh,
your
sure. In chat,
notifications.
sure. Let's see what we got going on here. I'll be
Okay,
more than happy.
perfect.
And hold on. All righty. So what I'll do is, yeah, we could give you that full five. Why not? I want people to see what's going on. I want people to see what's going on. Um,
Thank you so much.
yeah, no worries, no worries. All righty. Make sure I got the right one. Hold on for a minute. Do it again. That's why I'm so happy we pre-record this. I can cut this out.
Sorry.
No, no, not at all. There we go. Got it. Okay, so it's the BCW. We're going to move it over here. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't want to lose you. All right. Share screen, ECW. Share it. All righty. So, everyone, we're back. I want to be able to let everyone know that we're about to share a lovely video regarding Black Cannabis Week. All righty.
Pennsylvania at Temple University.
All righty. Hold on for a minute, y'all. You ever notice, right, when you want to get things done right?
Trust me, I know.
Girl, this is bloopers right here.
In Pennsylvania at Temple University School of Medicine. And what's going on today is the Cannabis Opportunities Conference. It's the second day of the 8th annual Cannabis Opportunities Conference.
Oh no. I wonder why it's buffing like this. I just was watching this.
I know, and it's not mine. It's not my thing here. But what we could.
I was gonna say if you want, you could just cut this and we could just watch the other one if you want.
Right.
I don't know why it's not first one.
Yeah. So what I'll do is. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this in for you, okay? I'm gonna cut that in for you. All right.
Sorry about that.
No,
Sure
not your fault. I have it. I'll go ahead. I'll make sure it runs, and we'll cut it in for you real quick. Okay.
Thank you.
But don't worry about that. That's the best part about editing. Everything can come in perfectly, and I can get it in and have it out for you because this is a video I have to have out in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and get back to your. I'm back here with Dr. Brandi from Black Cannabis Week, and we are discussing her role and perspective. Your work sits at the intersection of education policy and entrepreneurship. How does these three areas need to work together to create meaningful cannabis equity?
Education, community, and what was the last one?
It's education, policy, and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
How do these connect together to make meaningful cannabis equity?
I think that when we think of education is the foundation of everything. So I think that regardless if it's policy, entrepreneurship, a great example of that is entrepreneurship programs did not exist in universities. However, you saw that when they started seeing so many business owners develop, we have multiple centers of entrepreneurship programs. So entrepreneurship is the heartbeat. That's where those who are thinking outside the box and trying to be innovative, but they have to intersect that education because business owners cannot actually grow if they do not educate themselves. In order to build a house, you need multiple people to build it. So we need people to have different skill sets. It takes over 297 jobs to create a bottle of wine. Cannabis has even more. So we understand that fundamental tenet. We understand that entrepreneurship is how cannabis started because that was the legacy of what that looked and felt like. But as we move into a more regulated adult use market, it requires us to actually think about how do we rethink entrepreneurship. Well, that starts with education and it actually intersects with policy. Policy is important because policy is how we get to making sure we make decisions that guide from an equitable framework. And I think the word equity has become so, to me, diluted, but the principles of it is very simple. For me, how do I ensure everyday people who were harmed by what has happened, have access to an industry that says there will be 500,000 jobs by 2030? That requires us to actually be at rallies. That requires us to educate ourselves. That requires us to move in a way. And this conference is the intersection of that. That allows people to come in from, maybe you're already in school and you're thinking, how do I show up? This is for you. On Saturday, we have live scholarships. You can literally pitch. We have something called Nova Future Leaders. It was created because we understand the workforce is here. I am sorry the generation before didn't have real conversations with us and that we're doing stuff, but we can change that. If you are currently thinking about going to college, in workforce, want to learn about what cannabis workforce looks like, you come on Saturday, September 26th, and come out to the expo. The link's at blackcannabisweek.com. That day, you're going to see not only small business vendors there, we're going to have a live main stage with so much happening that allows you to activate your learning. You can start from anywhere. You can be a novice who know nothing about cannabis, or you can be somebody who's an expert and know that when you enter into this room, you're going to collectively learn. If you are a patient and you're looking to get your medical card, we are able to certify across multiple states. Sign up, get your free medical marijuana card. If you currently need your record expunged because you're tired of having that and that's impacting you from getting a job, come out on Saturday. That day is for you. If you are a small business owner and you're like, bro, I need a little bit of change, pull up and pitch. This is created as a centered day. That is on Saturday. On Friday, that is when the policy and comedy. On Sunday, the third day of the Cannabis Opportunities Conference, you'll have our Climate Justice Day. The world's on fire. It's okay. We can say we didn't know together. It's okay. We have climate justice experts coming, and we know that cannabis is at the intersection of all of that. So over 3 days, you're going to be able to educate yourself as any stakeholder to be able to push this billion-dollar industry forward. If you are unable to come to the conference and we are in your city, we're having these micro events to create ecosystems around ecosystems. The Black church and the community used to be the place where people gathered. We need to get back to getting in community so we can collectively share information. This industry is for us, but it does require us to slow it down because tax revenue, I'm only in cannabis. Let me be clear. I'm an educator by trade. I have done, like you said, many things, but working with the failing schools in America, understanding every 4 minutes an American kid is deemed illiterate, every 7 minutes a Black kid, I do care about the cannabis tax revenue being used. And we have the opportunity to use revenue in a different way. So wherever you are on the spectrum, however you see yourself, if you're a mother, a pastor, a policy leader, this is for you. This is the time for you to find something to tap in because our children, our communities need new solutions, and this is a new solution.
I want to ask you, go back and ask you a question. What you said earlier about how social equity appears to be diluted. Can you expound on that? Because I feel like if we shouldn't need any social equity if the government and the people and what's going on were doing right by us. You know what I mean? But you explain to me why you feel it's diluted,
I think that
and you are preaching to the choir with me.
so, language over time, my background is special education. So, the words in special education changed over time. You can
Right.
think of 5 different words to describe having an individual with a disability, right? You can do that now of how they transition. I think as I stated, it's okay to evolve as information comes, but sometimes people can keep using things they used equity so much that they kind of stripped away, to me, the value. And not because somebody did something, it's because now, oh, I did it because of equity. I'm being equitable. Am I not being equitable? I think we took the humanity out of what was actually intended. But I think we needed to even have this. It's sad that we even needed to have the word, but we know this all started from racial disparities in our own community. So I will not be blindsided by that. So they can wrap it and call it whatever they want. I'm gonna call it that I am a collateral consequence of the war on drugs. So what I will not do is allow them to say they done enough, because we
Yes.
haven't done enough to actually say community and all stakeholders have access, because it's levels to this shit. So you could give me access to one door, but then keep the next seven blocked up. I have seen this industry gatekeep itself. I have seen policy be able to say, oh, you could do this, and 5 minutes later, you can't do this. I've seen
Mm,
people disengage from policy and say, well, I want to be a licensee. You were wrong too, brother. You should have been out there too, advocating for yourself. So why the December queue not? Where the people in the December queue in New York? Okay.
oh, let me tell you, I'm
One
in the
go.
December queue for micro business. And I was told by a source that queue won't be seen for quite a while. Yeah, it won't be seen for quite a while.
But I say
Uh,
that to say, if we're honest about what this requires, you ask, how does education, policy, and entrepreneurship intersect? An example of how concept of intent and impact, the intentionality which we are grateful was to allow people without businesses to have access. However, when we did that, we also didn't realize that also brings people who might not have always been the most civically engaged, because if we were civically engaged when the December queue wasn't, the December queue was, a couple of people was noisy, but collectively,
no, we
as a
weren't.
collective
Can
community,
I
we didn't. But that's not. I would tell you.
can I tell you? Let me
Yeah,
give you
go ahead.
something. This is my perspective,
Okay.
Brand. And then I have to get the origins of your academia, because sisters need to see what's up, and young brothers, we
Amen.
can do it together. I am so actually glad that it stalled as one in the queue, because there were so many mistakes, so many obstacles that the current licensees, card and non-card licensees, went through. And I believe they uh, paved the way they're going to pave the way for us to make it easier for us in the queue in the future, right? OCM has done an amazing job with both Chris Alexander, who was then executive director, and now John Kagia. They've done the best that they freaking can, and with the resources and the government and the overlords over them. So I think what they've done is they've created an industry that proves and is well proven that as long as it's regulated, everybody stays on point, we protect each other's interests, that cannabis industry can work in any state if regulated and managed properly. So, my lord, I forgot my point.
You were saying that you thought
Yeah,
that it was okay
yeah,
that it was kind of delayed because it provided the
right,
opportunity for others to pave the way. And I
right.
would say I totally agree. And because I told you we need to live in a world of and I think we keep choosing or, and this is what keeps slowing us up.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that the people who are in the December queue, because many of them who I know personally, our legacy, did not have the same civic engagement as those who are in the first,
First and second.
second queue. So that changed the urgency of how people showed up to advocate for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you asked what was the intersectionality of policy and entrepreneurship, but because they didn't have the education of civic engagement to have a lobbyist at the backs, we got to a place where we forgot to take accountability. But I am telling you, the way I'm surviving cannabis, I'm living in 2 generations of grace.
Mm-hmm.
First for myself, and then for my elders, and then for
Mm-hmm.
their elders, because everybody is really in a social experiment. I can keep arguing, is it a or the or, but the next generation of individuals are requiring us to be better. So
Mm-hmm.
with that in mind, I'm holding myself to, hey, I'm happy that we were able to get the hindsight, but regardless of what people say, us being a part of the first is a blessing and a curse. because it comes with new things and new found it. But I've seen people make money. I've seen people change access for their family. I've seen how it has shifted. So I'm not saying everybody's story is the same, and I'm not painting you a picture that this is going to be easy. But for families to be able to create something together collectively, and me as somebody who's a actual researcher, first researcher in the world to have my PhD, first one, like
Really?
yeah. So
Let's talk about that real quick. What is your educational background?
so
Because I mean, I know your parents are proud, or whoever raised you. I mean, they got you proud.
unfortunately, I would say my community, and that's what you asked me. How did I get here? My
Mm-hmm.
community brought me to this moment. I've been an orphan for a very long time, so
God bless
I am a product of those who spilled into me, which are many. So thank them. But my PhD is in educational leadership. I interviewed professors across America to figure out what is missing when we talk about the actual curriculum in our colleges, when we
you.
think about non-plant touching programs. Again, 500,000 jobs are coming. How are we having this conversation to ensure that colleges, which is the job, the role of a university is to know what's happening in the future, pause, build PhD pathways and build bachelor pathways and workforce pathways so that we actually are able to support a robust industry. If you want to know what it looked like for something to fail, look at AI. We currently are arguing about AI because AI has been around for over 21 years. So we should see many institutions who have PhD programs and bachelor programs featuring AI because now they're actually moving in a way that allows it to move forward. So my research looked at the cannabis programming, understanding the workforce. How do we plan for sustainability? And interviewing all these professors, shout out to all the colleges in New York who
Mm-hmm.
engaged. We had over 20 professors across the nation. You'll see that. And what was there is that their recommendation of a cannabis studies department. Hmm. Why is
Mm-hmm.
that important? That is important because agriculture lives in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Education is actually able to work because somebody's research deemed it necessary, which is why we have elementary, middle, high, and K 12 continuing education all under one house because we want them to speak to each other. Cannabis is struggling to have the true momentum because departments are, it's the departmentalized. So therefore, we're not getting a cohesive conversation towards change. It is the role of the university to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So recognizing that when I did this and I think of the next 10 years, I think of the next generation, y'all, that's in college. I'm talking about cannabis anthology, journalism, packaging engineers. Baby, I'm not just talking about the lawyers. I'm talking about CPA, finance, and yes, the continuing ed programs, HVAC. I'm talking about
It's like it is. So I think. Can you think of any other industry that has so many ways, not only to process the plant, but to work in the industry as well?
yeah. We
Can
don't
you?
talk about that. We don't talk about that yet
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
much. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that what we can be honest and say, the reason why I love podcasts, the reason why I love this, people choose the methods they want to learn in. I am most grateful that someone will click this podcast and listen or hear it or see it on LinkedIn or Instagram and it resonates with them. That is how they learn. Somebody might read the transcript and that might resonate with them. Somebody might see it in a blog that might resonate with them. We need to get to a place where we our curiosity is sparked again to
Mm-hmm.
ask us, we never thought that we would have self-driving cars. I mean, we watched Futurama and we laughed about it,
Right.
but it wasn't like a real thing.
When I watched Star Trek, the original series, the communicator, right? Dick Tracy, 20s, 30s comic books, the phone, watch, so
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, what?
yes, yes.
That was the first Apple Watch.
Look, that was actually, yes. Well, no, 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 no. It was like, it was still a fictional um,
Concept. No, I know, but that was
concept,
the
but that
first
was the
model of
first.
it.
What do you think? You know something? Um, I'm not going to get into that because that's another story, history, our history, or whatever. But I just see so much performative, so much predatory and practices in history, especially in business. And Tesla, his technology is now coming to the forefront. You see, so between him and Edison, uh, not realizing that bringing both technologies together instead of allowing greed to come in and I want to be the one that wants to be in charge and run this industry, whatever. Both technologies would have taken us to a whole new different level, right? But now we're finding it, and we're blowing up. We blew up after the atomic bomb dropped. All of a sudden, we have all this technology. So, but yeah. I mean, like getting
But
back.
that
Go
goes
ahead.
back to what you were saying. So this year again, the theme, guys, when y'all looking is rising in joy, rooted in
Yes.
resilience, building
Right.
what's next.
Right.
When I think about this, I want people to come who are thinking about the future. To be honest, I'm not trying to convince. If you don't want to come, it ain't for you. But the people who are talking about how do we plan for what's next, 20 years from now, we're still going to be here. And I am a millennial, and it's the time for us to really start galvanizing and be in an intersection. This need to be an intergenerational conversation. So if you bring somebody, you bring your nephew, then you bring your grandmother. If you bring your friend, you bring somebody else. We can't actually change unless we move forward. I hope that we can move forward by us working together through multiple generations. The reason why I'm the executive producer of this actual conference and of Black Cannabis Week is because of Cherron Perry-Thomas, an elder in our community who has been doing the work. If we don't pause and capture history, we forget who has been there leading the way. One day we have to pass the baton. We can't keep saying we didn't like how the baton was passed if we don't come to the table. I don't say, do you want to sit at the table? Because I believe we are the table. So if we are the table, that means you're coming just to feast with yourself because you already bring in enough. I want people to see learning as fun. The Cannabis Opportunities Conference is the longest standing conference in the nation that centers Black and Brown voices. If the media actually was covering this, there is no conference that is currently happening in cannabis that has been happening longer than what this woman has put together in our community. This happens often that people that look like me have started things, but then people come in after us, get funded, and then it's louder so they can get there faster. Don't be blindsided. And to our allies, it's the Cannabis Opportunities Conference. That means all are welcome. People don't ask me if I'm going to da 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 da. It don't matter. This is a conference for all. Black Cannabis Week is Spirit Week. It is designed to get us excited about mobilizing people. Most actual things have begun and rooted in Black communities when you talk about change and revolutions. So thank you so much to communities who have done the work, but also thank you to our allies who, when I call you, it is no worries. You always show up. Because when I say cannabis, which is why I love the plant, I love it because it brings me to so many people. New York State has brought me to the best growers. Shout out to all my friends who are micro growers in the state. Shout out, like, dang, I love them. Like, seriously, Reggie them up there. Like, it's just so many people. I love that the dispensaries are people I know. In my community. I don't feel that in Pennsylvania. I feel that in New York, though. So I love that I got to experience that. I love that I got to work in Maryland and to work with licensees and help them and see what it means to be resourced. I love that I done help businesses in all across the state and countries to figure out what works best for them. Whatever you want to do in cannabis is possible because it's so new that don't let someone tell you that you can't do it. When I started my PhD, everyone told me it was impossible. Now I'm being invited to global spaces that need my research to actually facilitate funding their programs. I remember what the no felt like, but I remember this conference changed my life. Will ever be grateful for the Cannabis Opportunities Conference because it showed me that community is what actually outlives crazy. Right now we're in crazy times, but community will outlive all of that. So thank you all for being a part of our community, for showing up. Again, follow us, Black Cannabis Week. You know, we shot band.
Are you ending the interview?
Nah, that's wild.
I
Yo,
mean, It's okay, because we got another section here to go to, and I love this conversation.
No, we going. I'm just, you don't know where people are gonna. What I actually learned, you never know where people are gonna stop and start listening to something.
Yeah.
And if they started somewhere else, and if they stopped somewhere and maybe they didn't listen to the whole thing, I want them to know where they could find us. That's all.
Oh, don't worry, they're gonna find you, definitely, definitely. Well, you answered the next question, pretty much, about community growth, the experience, the identity, Black cannabis, and the industry challenges and opportunities. What are the biggest barriers facing Black cannabis entrepreneurs today, from licensing and capital to banking, real estate, compliance, market access? I mean, it's basically...
You really laying it on thick there, brother. You're really laying it on thick.
Wait a minute. When I saw, look, first off, where'd you get your doctorate from?
National. It's in San Diego.
Okay, and it's in community. You said it's in
educational leadership.
That's right. Okay, so so you did your master's and your BA where?
So I started at St. John Fisher in Rochester, New York, in education. I had a elementary ed and special education degree. I got a master's from Trinity University in DC in curriculum and policy. I got my second master's is from the University of Roehampton in London. Shout out. Educational leadership. And then I finished at National, and it used to be North Central University.
That's crazy. So you're an overachiever in education.
No, you know what I wanted to tell somebody? You think I wanted to do this shit? That's what I want people to start to realize. This is what I really hope our community gets out of this. I had to do this because you see how you doing a podcast? God gave you purpose. So that's something that you can do.
Yes.
Learning was never a hard thing for me. So that wasn't something of what you would do. When I was a teacher and I saw that I was working 3 full-time jobs as a teacher, I realized I had to get my master's. In New York State, they force you to get your master's within 5 years. So that's why I had my first master's. But I worked in DC because New York wasn't trying to pay me. As I worked in DC, I'm still, because DC was high as shit. If you ever lived in DC, you know DC is high. It's expensive on a teacher's wage. But that encouraged me to become a leader. As I further my experience, I thought I was done with my master's. I lived in Dubai and I worked as a teacher. I loved it. It was a great experience. Shout out to all those who are international teachers. It actually softened me because it showed me what it meant to be valued in like education. If I wasn't queer, I would have actually probably still been abroad. To be transparent. I got my master's because when I tried to move back and I wanted to be a principal, they said I couldn't become a principal. So I had to stay an extra 1.5 years in Dubai while I was going to school to get my master's in order to take the position as a principal. This is what I'm telling you. The system is stupid. So I am grateful for all of these because it allowed me to be, I think we do a bad job at devaluing education, but it is essential for us. Everybody can't be at the entry level positions. Even the conversations I'm having now, I had a conversation today about research that I've never had in my whole entire life. I felt so abundantly grateful. I say that to say, what if I would have quit? Most of my students, I'm the first researcher in their whole life that they know. So I feel honored. And also, what the hell? But it also reminds them, you could grow up in any community. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be here, bro. Like, I wasn't. This is just truly God, grace, and mercy to show you what it means. Like when it's been paid in blood. When I think about the ancestors and what it means to lead and what it means to be this person, I didn't expect that I would become this woman, but I know that I'm pretty sure somebody they thought that it would be me. I say all of this to say that education saved me. My 4th grade teacher pushed me harder than anybody I ever knew. I had mentors along the way that didn't allow me to be. They allowed me to have fragile moments, but they didn't allow me to give up on myself. They
Hmm.
pushed me to see value. Many people, you can't be both fearful and fearless at the same time. It just doesn't work. So,
Hmm.
what does that actually mean? I'm grateful that I come from a community that understand no one's coming to save us. So, if I understand that, that means how are we leading? So, I say get you some mentors, and not just mentors. You need mad mentors. You need mentors in your job, mentors in just life, just to help you think outside of the box.
Hmm.
I remember my first, my core friends, I remember they always used to say, "You doing too much. You doing too much." I'll never forget I got a mentor who reminded me, let's go to the spa. You're not doing too much. You're not doing enough. Stay in focus. Stay prioritized. Taught me how to integrate wellness into what I was doing so that I felt honored to do the work. I feel sad because I'm walking amongst the living dead. So many people are
Asleep.
they sleep. They
They
just
sleep.
and I get it. That's where again I start two generations of grace. So I have no judgment. I give them the space to live. But if tomorrow is the only day you get to start over, I hope you start over knowing give yourself grace, give the next person grace, and let's get to it. Um, I think that is necessary. My education background is what allows me to be in cannabis. I love the entrepreneurship. I love the business. I love all of that.
Mhm.
We're in an educational genocide. Period.
Oh, big time.
That means that we should be doing everything in our power to do something different. So right now, for me, making sure I'm creating the vehicle for education to move forward is critical. Making sure I'm moving things to outlast what I'm saying, critical. Um, I do believe education will save us, and not because it's one dimensional. Because they have made us feel like it's a or go to college or become continuing it. Go to this or do this.
Right.
I hope that we start community planning in a way where we say, who wants to do this? Who wants to do that? And as a
Right.
community, when we see that we got too many people on this side, we encourage more people to go on this side. There's a decline in children going to college, there's a decline in what we see as the next world. What happens when a country does not prepare the workforce to actually work? Well, you have large, you're going to have a lot of different people. They're going to have to outsource jobs. So we could either prepare for them or we could outsource them. But I'm telling you that the advanced degrees that are used in cannabis, in technology, in tech,
Hmm.
I don't see people making the machines. I see us buying the machines from other countries. I don't
Right.
see us having the engineers here when I know there's somebody in their house that's tinkering with something that might be able to do this. I hope we release shame of the plant. The education has allowed me to do that. I used to feel shame as a patient. I have a
Right.
debilitating autoimmune disorder.
Hmm.
And I would be like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm so grateful the plant has given me the quality of my life back to type, to walk, to not need uh, different things. I don't take any pharmaceuticals. I don't need any of those things because I literally have access to CBD and THC in so many forms
Hmm.
that I'm able to show up as a patient. It has allowed by you just being who you are, people around you are watching you, right? And then they're changing.
All right. So,
Oh, I love a good RSO. Rick
all right.
Simpson oil.
So, lovely. A friend gave me this, and I've
Mm,
been using it, and because I stopped cigarettes about now 40 days.
amen.
So, and doing other things, but um, I do, I do want to say that uh, your history is amazing. And people can see that we all go. I know you've gone through your struggles, you've gone through those days. You don't want to be bothered. You don't know whether you can make it, and yet here we are today. And you're just a reaffirmation of my life as being an older, unk, and I'm up here in my 60s and seeing I'm I'm actually doing well compared to or how I thought I would be.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to get back to the the opportunities here, these barriers. What do you think? are um, the
So the
biggest
barriers,
barriers.
the largest barrier from working, I am seeing capital, but not just capital. Let's be honest, it's the financial technical assistance. Shout out to New Project. They are doing great work across the nation, providing financial technical assistance. Been doing grants and loans. But what they do and what I saw, I've never saw before. They actually give hands-on financial technical assistance, and they help you release the shame by coming in, bringing in your books, bringing in your CPA. I feel like we lie too much to ourselves about our understanding of finance. The same person you need at $1 million company isn't the person that you need at a $20 million company, as I learned from
Mm-hmm.
Christina from Braun, the chocolate company. So she was just talking to me about that, and it just made me realize that if we continue to not talk about capital, and I'm not, and because right now we're only talking about it through grants and loans, but I'm talking about it through understanding what do we need federally? What is that actually going to happen? When it does happen, and if it does happen, how it does happen, are we prepared? Do institutions have the understanding to even support the businesses? For the businesses, do they have the understanding? I think is that part, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
usually have someone on your team. But now let's get down to the daily. Some of these business owners, everybody is coming in with different expertise. And I think it's okay to say you don't know, which is why I wish leaders lean in a little bit more. There's not another industry on this earth where you are able to, every education we have professional developments, we got to go in, you got to grow. A part of cannabis, sometimes I like the fun part. Don't get me wrong. I like going out, meeting the people, hanging out. The education is
Mm-hmm.
necessary for the CEOs, for the team members, because in order for them to professionally, because now we treat it like an industry, because culture currently describes how we talk about cannabis. I want to talk about it as a profession. So talking about it as a profession and understanding that financial acumen is the part that is a disconnect on all levels. What does that look like to educate? Well, that looks like what educational spaces are available. In most conferences, when I'm there, I'm probably like in the room, but you don't see as many people in the learning segments as if I go to a social work conference or a teacher conference. It's about the whole room back
Mm-hmm.
where the social aspects of cannabis are amplified, which I sometimes think has been like amplified through just like the culture of cannabis. Cannabis is currently being integrated, especially in Black communities, through hip hop. And I love hip hop and what it has done, but we both know that cannabis and hip hop culture isn't the same as cannabis in the profession. They coexist, but they're not the same exact thing. So if I want you to come in and be my CFO, I want your money man to have a money mind. You don't want somebody to come in without that. But how
Mm-hmm.
did you know how to choose that person? How did you know what that looks like? So I think because it's so nuanced, currently in this currently institutions, governments, both state, locally, and federal, are putting crumbs around the work that needs to happen. There are some people who are doing it larger than others, so they're showing you a blueprint. But the largest barrier is money, and access to capital. And the predatory deals, as you stated earlier, are happening because the education around financial acumen lacks at multiple depths. And I think that being around New Project and seeing what they're doing, it allowed me to really say entrepreneurs are struggling with funding. Entrepreneurs are struggling with some of the financial acumen. Even as they scale, they're struggling because it's multiple layers to understanding finance on a cannabis side than they've ever experienced.
Wow. That you answered questions 11, 12, and 13. Jesus. You're so thorough. I love it. I love it. And but also too, I think um, the one of the main also is the racist policies that are also holding us back, and the continued redlining in finance as well, holding our communities from even just opening up mainstream businesses. You know, and in New York, what I find, I've seen a transition of bodega owners, for example, in the 60s, 70s, there were Latino and African American bodega owners or storefront owners, and then but a lot of it was ethnically owned, depending on the neighborhood you lived in. Now it transitioned from Korean to now Southeast Asian, and but we can't seem to. I can't think of African American grocery store or a bodega, local bodega that's owned in this city. So the policies of this country across the board has just been to keep us in a cage and not, experience what is no longer now the American dream. Um, for the future, when you look 5, 10 years ahead, what would a truly equitable cannabis industry look like to you? Wow, she got to think about that.
No, I was thinking about something particular. I want to rephrase what your question was
Uh,
because I'm trying to do better with the word equity. Like I said,
right.
what do I see this industry looking like that centers people,
That.
especially those who have been harmed in multiple dimensions? I think it first starts with investment, and investment has to start on multiple levels. I am disappointed. Hmm. I'm disappointed in the stakeholders that I thought would be ready to receive the money. Like I
Mhm.
told you, I got into this because 40% of the tax revenue from cannabis in New York goes back to education. When the money came, OCM did the presentations. People didn't come. OCM did the things. And trust me, I did. It was tweaks. I was doing all of the things. Trust me, the application wasn't 100%. I'm not saying one group is right or wrong. I think that where my disappointment came, I remember presenting to Rochester City Council as saying, hey, y'all, let's send this out. Let's send this out. Let's make sure we get it. How many people in municipalities sent that out to the nonprofits in their area? If you don't have a grant writer on your team, I see this as a space where those who are currently the
Mhm.
gatekeepers to new access to funding that they move. Our communities are on fire, so we need every resource. So if you are currently a school leader that have after school programs that need chips and need programs that y'all mad that the kids outside doing violent stuff, we need to have programs in our community. I want that for our community. I want to have access. So I see a future in where we are informing all stakeholders, where it's industry agnostic. You can go to a event in education, it's gonna be wine. We could go to an event at such and such, it's alcohol. You could go here. We have integrated that into community. Cannabis has an obscene smell, so that's really what people hate. It ain't nothing more than that. If the smell wasn't there, we wouldn't even be probably having this conversation.
Mhm.
I hope that we educate ourselves. Let me be clear. Cannabis tax revenue in some states shows up separately, but alcohol and tobacco tax revenue goes into the general fund that they disseminate to you in grants, and nobody has a problem with that. It is disruptive for money to still come down in the same way and us not to have access. I'm talking about the churches. I know.
Mhm.
I'm talking
Mhm.
about the people who have the nonprofits, but they don't have them. Please get them together in terms of your paperwork, taxes, and all the things you need. I think we all need to prepare our community to receive funding, prepare our businesses to receive money, prepare our communities to scale. Right now, we don't have the education. Why did I have to create programs across the nation as one person? One day, when y'all really hear my real story about what I did, I don't know how I did this because
Mhm.
it was truly God's grace and mercy what I have done over the last 5 years. And it has been because Black Cannabis Week provides a vehicle because it understands that it took her 10 years, 10 years to get to this moment where we having this conversation. The Cannabis Opportunities Conference been here. They've been had press. They first conference, they had big senators here. They've been had all of the things. But oftentimes, think about the festivals and the conferences. We sell culture, but we don't allow culture to, we the culture. So the people are the culture. The people got to show up for themselves. But now you got to separate education and cannabis. No, the future looks like them together. I want to build a community where we are having honest conversations so we have more informed patients. We have more informed children making better decisions instead of fear mongering them, but they're also not getting the education for their friends in the internet. I see a future in where research is so vast that we have innovation so that consumption levels of consumption looks and feels different, that we have public health studies that allow us to actually have transformative conversations. I'm telling you, the world has already changed. Look at the cannabis tax revenue, as you stated earlier. It has now surpassed alcohol. The
Mm-hmm.
next generation of people are not drinking because we saw bad behavior, okay? It was scary. We don't want it. It's not for us. My friend,
Mm-hmm.
like, I really don't have a lot of drinking friends. It's not real.
Yeah,
So
neither do I.
if we understand that fundamental thing, please, y'all, have 2 generations of grace. It's okay for forgiving ourselves about what the war on drugs have done to our community in many ways. My farmers out there in the rural that I done seen, we all have been through something. But what I am asking is if tomorrow we had to start anew, that we start anew by just planning forward, being more educated on what's the next steps that we can take. My next step might not be your next step. We are all in different purposes and in different alignments. But if you are currently saying, I want to be in this space, or I'm in this space, or you're in this space and you're burnt out, this is for you too. We want to co create community that feels like it doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be safe and grow.
Mm, that's beautiful. What do you want listeners and policymakers, consumers, and emerging entrepreneurs to take away from Black Cannabis Week, and how can they support the organization's work?
What I would like them to take away from Black Cannabis Week this year is that Black Cannabis Week is the spirit, it's the seasoning. It's the way to activate the community. We got some activations. Follow us on social media. It'll allow you to stay up to date with some of the surprises we have coming down the pipeline. And when you leave the Cannabis Opportunities Conference, the fourth week of September, September 25th to 27th in Philadelphia, I want you to leave saying, I went to a conference and I learned differently. I was able to learn in multiple different spaces and still go back and figure out how I'm going to be different. We have next year is the 10th year.
Yeah.
I'm excited because wow, 10 years, a decade to be pushing. But this is hard, y'all. I've been up since 5 o'clock. It's 12 hours.
Well, I'm hosting an event at the end of the month. That's a small, intimate networking event that allows cannabis industry to meet the consumers, and the consumers meet the cannabis industry and celebrity businesses. Just a little networking event to connect these people and educate as well. That's why I'm so excited about it. I've been trying to go to Black Cannabis Week for the last 2 years, but always conflicting schedules. And I think that what you're doing is just incredible, and what you're offering, and we need more of that up here in New York as well. Um, if you could change one thing about the cannabis industry immediately, what would it be, and what would you want the community to build in its place?
I would say trust. Um, I've had to have a lot of restraint in this industry because people have, I mean, I done got death threats. We done got so many things trying to do this conference over the years
Mhm.
that will blow your mind. That it just, I want us to know that we're all in this together. And I think in order to build trust, it requires us to be more honest with ourselves. How can we all show up differently? I feel like New York was very dysregulated, and I was driving to New York every week. Look me up; they'll see what I've been doing. If you're in New York, yeah, I know
Mhm.
we was out here. Um, It was so hard and grueling, but the relationships that I built trust with, they outlasted everything. I feel like New York City is much bigger, so it's harder sometimes. Yeah, I do have ecosystems and it's happening, but I think like how can we continue to build trust in communities that allow people to everyone feels like they have to be right. It's not about being right. Two truths can coexist at the same time. We can have shared value systems and also disagree. We don't have to always think the same exact things to be in the same room. The next generation is watching us on how we deal with conflict. And to be honest, I'm disappointed at how adults our age deal with conflict. And I hope we can find another way. A part of that is just find your tribe, and your tribe is here at the Cannabis Opportunities Conference. And if we pop up in your city, just so you know, we're going to Boston, we're going to New York City, we got stuff happening in Philly, we're going to be in Maryland, we're going to be in DC during Congressional Black Caucus.
When are you
So
going to be in New York?
right now we still solidifying a date, but we
Okay.
should be able to tell you that soon.
Yeah,
But I'm
please do.
excited. Yeah, no worries. You're gonna be on it. Each one of these experiences have. I remember when Black Cannabis Week just was on online, trying to mobilize people in terms of like the spirit of the conference to be able to go into people's homes, their communities, because your community is your home. So to be able to be welcomed across the country, I feel grateful to all of the people who follow us, y'all. These volunteers who given their time to put this conference on for the community because they believe in it. 50 over 50 people that are residents of this country who look like so many different things, represent so many nationalities, so many gender identities, so many social economic backgrounds. They give their time because they believe that cannabis deserves the opportunity to lead as a profession. And leading as a profession requires education. So coming to the Cannabis Opportunities Conference is like an opportunity for that.
Mhm. Excellent, excellent, man. I gotta tell you, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to
Thank
go
you.
and meet you all and do a lovely interview. Your founder, I want to get her on as well.
Okay, perfect. I'll definitely.
Just before, if you can get her on, yeah, we could do this next week, and I can have her on, have it all ready to go for September.
Oh wow,
Uh,
thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah. Well, I want to get this out, but I want to tell you, you definitely are. Your generation are bring hope. Okay, and I really feel you all are gonna. We're all gonna do just fine with younger leadership and seeing change. You all are bringing change and thought. The stigmatism of cannabis is waning, and the people are more accepting, especially in New York State. Um, yeah, there are still a few of those that are, whatever, but they're from a whole different spectrum. I do want to thank you so, so much
Mm.
for taking the time out to sit with me and talk to me, and I can't wait to see you. I will be there. I believe on the 24th,
Mm.
and then spend a few days with you all and end it on a high note. I'm really excited. Oh man! And I want to tell you something. Um, please tell everyone again who uh, Black Cannabis Week is, who was founded, and who you are.
Okay. Black Cannabis Week was founded by Cherron Perry-Thomas. She's from Memphis, but she's a girl of Philly. And she's been doing the work for over a decade. She's been mobilizing. If you are in the space, she done did so many different things in activism and civil rights. But cannabis is where she has been working in the last 10 years. And I am Dr. Brandi Hester. I am an educator by trade, a community member by just identity, and I'm grateful to be here. Black Cannabis Week is going to be an experience that allows us to activate the community. Black Cannabis Week is an activation, a spirit week, collective, multiple events. We're stopping. Think about this. We're stopping in different cities. Come, gather with us. But if you have capacity and you want to learn, honestly saying, hey, we need to try something different. No one's coming to save us, bruh. This don't have no race card on it. No one's coming to save us. If we want to talk about how do we find joy in something that feels very, very, very sad, how do you find joy in something that doesn't feel great? It's because the rooted in resistance is how we actually tie this together, making sure we understand each other's value systems. My value systems are clear: children, elders, non negotiable. I'm going to do all in my power to make sure that they have access to all means. And if you're not in alignment, that's cool. You're not in alignment with me, and that's also cool. But this conference is designed to make sure people have access to education in a way that has no look. If you come to the policy breakfast on Friday, I love to see you there. If you come to the hearing, you're supposed to be in the room. If I see you laughing at night, kicking it with us, we're supposed to have you there. That's day one, that Friday. If I see you on Saturday, this is the expo. Know you're going to have the small businesses, live stage, keynote education, pop-up scholarships. Check out the website. Day three, that's where we're getting into climate justice. I look forward to seeing so many young people get into agriculture in a new way in our community. Environmentalism started at the heart of Black and Brown communities. Let's not be deceived by what is happening. It is our right to slow information down. There is nothing wrong with saying, I want to learn. But I think as a professional and a CEO, if you have a business and you're not political, you should be at the breakfast, because nothing happens in policy without the policy. So you want to make sure your voice is heard. So thank you so much for having us. This has been a blessing. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. And what's the website? And go ahead.
It's www.blackcannabisweek.com. You can find us on all socials as Black Cannabis Week. On there, you'll click at the top and hit events. That will give you access to our Daily Dose tour during Black Cannabis Week and the Cannabis Opportunities Conference happening during Black Cannabis Week.
And you can RSVP on Eventbrite as well. Okay,
that is right.
Yeah, baby. And so I want you to stay on for a few seconds. Let me just do the end of the show, and I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you guys so much. This was probably one of the better. Every time I get my brothers and sisters on, I feel very, very good about having these great conversations, and we all are speaking the same message: more unity, more positive equity, solid growth, building the community, not only just in education, but finance, health, wellness. And this young lady truly has it going on. I want to thank my sponsors, who are probably like one of the most coolest people on the planet. And we'll be at the next Elevate Innovate event, sponsored by Salal Business Services. It is for New York City Card Licensee Summit, Success Summit, and it is for all of you consumers and business owners to come. It is on Eventbrite. I'll have discounts coming up for bartenders and for special guests. Also, again, this is like one of the better networking events, more private, intimate, offering catering, offering speaking engagement and music, and a lovely mocktail bar. You'll be hearing a lot more about this in the next coming weeks. I also want to let everyone know season 2 will be kicking off August 16th. Hoping to be at Manhattan Neighborhood Network. We should be okay there. I need to get back in the studio and really start showing love and getting people to come downtown and just work with Manhattan. Manhattan's awesome. And we are starting a series of the OG Deep Dive. It will have many perspectives on varying topics through 2027. Got a lot of work to do. So I want to thank everyone for following, liking, subscribing, and definitely comment, please, and share. Please share. We're on all the social media platforms. And again, don't forget, September 11th is the High Cannabinoid Cannabis Sativa Field Day event that's happening Friday, September 11th, up in Geneva, New York. A beautiful, beautiful town in upstate New York, hosted by Cornell Weil and Cornell Agritech and OCM. I want to tell everyone thank you so much for having us on, having me on, being there, supporting the podcast. I remember just to sit back, relax, relate, release. This is Poppadukes, the OG Social Network Podcast, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. See you soon. The OG Social Network Podcast is sponsored in part by